We're going to do a new random word. This one is suggested by the chat. All right, new word, transform. Well, there's a couple interesting concepts here that come to mind. So there's transformation on a personal level and how you identify with yourself. But there's also value in transforming the perceptions of yourself within other people. I've been down that road before, and I've dealt with that in a consulting capacity. So let's first begin with looking at some ideas here of transforming your perceptions of yourself in the community at large. And what you'll find is, like, the famous places where this happens is where you have a celebrity that maybe messes up somehow. Maybe it comes out that they are racist. Maybe it comes out that they are struggling with drugs. Maybe they have, any number of things that just goes wrong and begins to derail their career. And they have to go through a transformation, and transformation takes time. So one of the first things you'll see from a public perspective is they disappear. They jump completely off the radar. And if you're going through a transformation in the public eye, that is the first thing that you must do, is really disappear, go off the map. And there's a concept actually that we can talk about that's fun with the reason why. So this pen doesn't work. Let's try this one. So there's a concept called, so you probably heard of like something having a learning curve. It's got a big learning curve, right? And that means like where you have a concept, it takes time before you really begin to become proficient in that concept that you're learning. Just the same as we learn things and it takes time to learn. And by the way, like the learning curve, okay, this should work. Let me hold this up and make sure that I did this right. Okay, yes, perfect. Okay, so this is essentially what a learning curve looks like. And what that means is, right, so the y-axis is essentially your proficiency with whatever it is you're learning, and the x-axis is time. So the learning curve is really suggesting that at the beginning of when you start learning something, you don't remember it very well. You don't have very good proficiency of the information. And as time goes on, your proficiency and understanding begins to accelerate at a much faster rate than it does in the beginning. So it happens that there's a concept called the forgetting curve that most people don't talk about except in psychology circles. And it looks something more like this. Okay. So there's a concept that we remember and we think about it. Now, if you think about something a lot, you don't really you don't forget it. Okay. It just kind of stays in memory. But when you don't think about something for a while, right, eventually your memory and your proficiency of that concept begins to dissipate and eventually go to zero, and you forget, or at least a lot of people forget. Not necessarily everyone, because there's people that have great memories, there's people that have horrible memories, and there's everywhere in between. But on average, you're going to have people begin to forget those concepts. So in this idea of transforming in the public eye, the reason celebrities disappear for at least 6 months, 6 months is considered the minimum in that profession of just disappear when something horrible happens, is they're waiting for people's memory of whatever it is they associate with them to begin to degrade. They're looking to capitalize on that forgetting curve. So that's something, if you're looking to change, I went through that. I went through a bit of a career change. I'd spent a bunch of years as a financial advisor, and then transformed into business consulting, specifically in the area of influence consulting. And for a while, for a long time, people thought about me in the perspective of a financial advisor rather than as a business consultant. And so in order to address that issue, I had to just disappear altogether, right? I didn't post anything on social media for, I think I waited 8 months. And when I came back, I started introducing slowly concepts of the new type of work that I was working on and the new type of content that I wanted to be known for. And it worked. You build momentum, and people then begin to see you as this new concept. So that's an idea as far as transform. If we're transforming, going under a public transformation, great word.